when these two men get into the octagon, there will be 4 haircuts in the octagon, and one of them has no hair. So the 4 haircuts are all in Diego Lopez's corner. Like, does that give him some power? I don't know.
All right, welcome to another episode of Two Fight Fans. We talk about all things in combat sports. I'm one fight fan, Colin,
And I'm the other Stewart.
and today is actually our 100th episode. It is our UFC 100 of who was it that? Who was that one? Frank Mir and Brock
What
Lesnar,
in
right?
what in God's green earth are you talking about? Whoa, what was UFC 100?
Yeah, because this is our episode 100.
Oh my God, we've done this 100 times?
Oh yeah,
Um,
baby.
UFC 100. Well, I know it most strongly as being George St. Pierre versus Thiago Alves. I believe it
Thiago
was
Alves.
Brock Lesnar versus Frank Mir 2.
Yes.
This is when Dan Henderson H-bombed Michael
Oh
Bisping. Very
yeah.
rude. I
Yeah.
remember John Fitch was on this card against Paulo Thiago. Is that right? Yes, it
Whoa.
fucking is.
Is this
Um,
also the one with Anderson Silva and Forrest Griffin?
no, no, no. That was like,
Is that
was that you?
101?
I think so. It was something like very close by, or like 90
Okay.
something. Uh, let me look. Anyway, look, is it going to be as good as UFC 100? No, it's not going to be as good as
No.
UFC 100.
No.
Never will be. Yeah, that was 101.
Okay, see, that's close.
But let's look back at UFC 100. We had Filthy Tom Lawler against CB Dollaway, which is good.
Ooh.
The Stun Gun, Dong Young Kim against TJ Grant, who, if you don't remember, TJ Grant was like going to be a title challenger until he had a massive concussion and had to leave MMA.
Oof.
Jim Miller, who's fighting at UFC 314
Yeah,
against
he
Matt
is.
Danzig. John Jones against Jake O'Brien.
Oh, that's right.
Mark Coleman against Stephan Bonner in
Oh,
a
yeah, that
truly
was.
atrocious fight. Sexyama against Alan Belcher.
Oh, yeah.
John Fitch against Paulo Thiago. Like I
Yep.
said, remember Paulo Thiago? He was like a Brazilian SWAT member, like a
Yes, he was
SWAT
part of
team.
BOPE or something. The anti drug enforcement of Brazil.
Yeah, and he burst onto the scene in the UFC by, I think, knocking out that's right, knocking out Josh Koscheck in the
Ooh.
first round. It was like a big, huge, massive upset at the time. Um, Dan Harrison, Michael Bisping, GSP, Thiago Alves, Brock Lesnar, Frank Mir. What a
Yep.
great card. What a
Yeah.
great card. Much better than the one we're talking about, but listen, in the era of buffet food, uh, UFC, this is still a good card. UFC
Yeah.
314 is still a very good card.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about it. We're gonna make picks for the entire main event, and
Oh,
we're gonna
yeah.
start from the very, very top.
Oh,
Colin,
okay.
Alexander Volkanovski,
Yeah.
Diego Lopez.
Oh,
I
yeah.
want to alert you to 3 facts
Oh,
about this fight. Uh, and this is all under the condition that Alexander Volkanovski does win.
okay. Okay.
If Volkanovski wins, he will be the first fighter in any division 155 pounds and below who has won a title fight at the age of 35 or older.
Okay. Okay.
He will also be the only fighter coming off of 2 back-to-back losses in the UFC organization who wins the title in their primary weight class. There
Okay.
have been
Okay.
6 other fighters who have attempted it. Randy Couture did win it at light heavyweight, but that was after losing twice at heavyweight and then dropping down in weight.
Okay. Okay.
This will also be the God, is it 1, 2, 3, 4? He will only be the 5th fighter who has been defeated and lost the belt in a weight class to come back and win a belt in that same weight class. Only 4 people have done it
Whoa.
before him.
Wait, wait, wait,
Isn't
wait,
that
what?
crazy?
That
Yeah.
can't wait, only 4 people have won the belt, lost it, and then come back to win it again?
So we have some instances like John Jones, who's stripped of the title but never officially loses it in the ring, comes
Okay,
back and regains it, or like Dominic Cruz, stripped of the title, abandons the title, regains it, or
okay,
somebody who loses a title and then wins it in another weight class. But the
okay,
only people who have
to have done
lost
this.
it
Yeah,
are Rose Namajunas, losing it
okay,
to Jessica Andrade and then beating Zhang Weili,
okay,
Stipe Miocic, losing it to Daniel Cormier and then taking it off of Daniel Cormier,
okay,
Stevenson Figueiredo, losing it to Brandon Moreno and then taking it from Brandon Moreno, and then Randy Couture losing it to Josh Barnett and then coming back many years later and taking it off of Tim Sylvia.
Wait, I think there are a few more than just those.
Mm, you are right. This isn't counting the women, so there is uh, Amanda Nunes, who
Yep,
has done the same thing. And actually, you're right. I think Tim Sylvia, though I think it was vacant at the time when he lost it to Andrei Arlovsky, and then he
okay.
came back and beat Andrei Arlovsky to take it away. But it was vacant at the time because he had been stripped of the title.
Well,
Uh,
I think I have 3 more for you.
who?
Jose Aldo. Oh, wait, but
Oh
he didn't.
my God. How could I forget? Now, he did win the interim, but then they
Yeah,
bumped him up. That's
yeah,
true. You're exactly right. We
Jose
can't
Aldo,
forget about Josiah. Yep.
and I can't believe you forgot, these 2, Matt Hughes and GSP.
You know what? You're right. I can't believe I forgot those either.
Come
You're
on.
right. So, but Alexander
But still
Volkanovski, no, you're right. I'm
still,
embarrassed. I'm
it's rarefied
embarrassed.
air. It's
Oh,
rarefied
hold
air.
on. GSP never lost. Oh, he
He
did. He
lost to Matt
lost it to
Serra,
Matt Serra. That's
and then he
fucking
put the
right.
fucking whoop on Matt Serra
I forgot
afterwards.
about that shit. Yeah, and Matt Hughes lost it to BJ Penn.
Yep.
You're exactly right. I can't believe I forgot about those two. That's baffling to me because when I saw George St. Pierre's name pop on this list, I thought it was because he vacated it and then won it
Mm.
against Bisbing. But you're absolutely right. He did lose it. Yeah. So we have a couple, but that's rarefied air. Rose Namajunas,
It's
Matt
still very
Hughes,
rarefied air.
George St. Pierre, Randy Couture, Davison Figueiredo. Right.
I
It's
mean, a lot of those names are existing Hall of Famers or future Hall of Famers too,
yeah.
so
And we've talked about this, how difficult it is to once the division starts passing you by, how hard it is to claw your way back to the
oh,
top.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
So not only will he be amongst that rarefied air, he will also be the first person at 155 or under at 35 or older to win a title. And in the same weight class that they normally compete, because Randy Couture did lose 2 in a row at heavyweight, but then dropped down and won it at or not at 125, but at 205.
Mhm.
Alexander Volkanovski will be the first to have 2 losses in a row and then win a title.
Yeah.
So there will be basically 3 records he'll be breaking, kind of, or like breaking into
Yeah.
overall. Crazy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Colin,
Mhm.
what is Alexander Volkanovski's path to victory in this fight?
I think it's to not get weight bullied by the much bigger, taller, can I say stronger? Yeah, I guess if he's just holding him down, yeah,
Ooh, I don't know. Volkanovski was able to like muscle Makachev around, and Makachev's a
that's true.
big 155er.
That's true.
And if you
Uh,
ever hear Joe Rogan talk, he'll tell you 900 times that Volkanovski used to play rugby amateur at 215 pounds, right? He'll say that endlessly. And every time he says it, it gets a little bit heavier. He's like, no, he was 225. No, he's 235. Like, I bet come Joe Rogan announcing this fight on Fight Night, he'd be like, Volkanovski used to weigh 390 pounds when he played rugby, right? Um, so I don't think there'll be much weight bullying. There will be height bullying,
yeah,
but surprisingly, although I think he has a 3-inch height advantage, he only has a 1-inch reach advantage on Volkanovski.
that's super surprising. But I just seeing them stand together. I mean, Diego Lopez is way taller, but
Yeah.
he looks a lot bigger than Volk,
Yeah. But
like
I don't know,
width
dude.
wise and everything. Like he just,
Yeah.
and I know that can be deceiving, but like, yeah,
Volk is
he just
thick.
looks big.
Yeah. Volk is thick with like 7 C's. He's like
Yeah.
very thick. Yeah.
But I think he has a major advantage in the speed department. So like his ability to
Who?
like dart Volk.
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So his ability, yeah, come on now. His ability to dart in and out, pick his shots, to
Mhm.
get clean hits, to counter as necessary, and kind of mix up combinations, I think will be it's something that could be very it's something that Diego Lopez I don't think has actually had to face yet. He's not this kind of dynamic fighting style, but
Mhm.
can Volk one be back for after those two losses and also at 35? That's a tough thing to do. I myself am 35, and man, just getting up off the ground after being thrown is fucking tiring. So like,
Yeah. No, it's true, it's true. But in the same time, can you name for me the top 2 or 3 best wins of Diego Lopez's career?
ooh, not off the top of my head. So let me see. Hold on,
Well, who did he beat last time?
Brian Ortega.
Yeah, and did Brian Ortega seem like a really great fighter at that moment in time?
Nah,
Nah. Who else has he beaten that impressed you?
yeah, good point. I
Dan
mean,
Ige on a 4-hour.
yeah, I was more impressed with Dan Ige. So
Right, and then it's like Sadiq Yusuf, which true, good win, but not a top 15 fighter at the moment. He did survive Mosar Evloev, but he just survived.
yeah,
People wanna, like, remember that fight as like, "Oh, man, he nearly beat Mosar Evloev," and I'm like, "I don't think so." I think Mosar just is bad at finishing people. He was really in control the whole time.
hmm.
Washed Brian Ortega, Danny Ige on 4 hours notice, and short notice Mosar Evloev. Do any of these guys have any of the skill that we could say that Volkanovski has?
Nope, I don't think
Yeah,
so.
I agree, man. But let's be generous. Let's be real generous because
'Kay.
I'm getting negative. How like legitimately how can Diego Lopez beat him? Like if we were to describe the exact scenario in which we come back on Monday and we're like, "Oh, he beat him this way." What do we anticipate that looks like?
I mean, I think it really depends on what Volt comes out, you know?
Mhm.
And if he's able to get Volt kind of, uh, not circling and just kinda going straight back, which
Mhm.
is what ran him into trouble with, Ilya,
Mhm.
but I don't think Diego Lopez has the same stopping power that Topuria has.
No.
But just being able to put him on the back foot and not be able to use his speed or use uh, his angles properly,
Mhm.
then it would give him more of a chance in that regards. And then maybe be able to string that together with some takedowns and control, not necessarily
Mhm.
damage or submissions. I don't see Volk being, ground and pounded out or uh, submitted by Diego Lopez. I think
Mhm.
he's way experienced enough and has enough skill sets to get himself out of that. But I could hypothetically, just with the age and everything, just if he was like kind of held down like against the cage or again, not just basically winning on control and points,
Mhm.
not like excessive damage. It wouldn't be like that one sided.
Okay. So you think it'll probably be like a 5th round decision for Lopez?
Yeah, I think that's the only way. I don't
Wow.
see him submitting or knocking out Volk.
Interesting, because I was gonna say the only chance I really give Lopez is like a fast knockout, like
Mm,
Volkanovski's chin is fully gone. He just gets caught in a firefight really fast, and his chin just can't hold up to punches he used to be able to take.
okay. Okay.
Because you mentioned 2 things there. One is the wrestling and one is, pressure.
Yeah.
Topuria in the first round of their fight or actually, do you remember who won the first round in their fight on all 3 scorecards between Volk and Topuria?
I just assumed it was Taporia, but no. Was it
It
Volk?
was Volk. Volk won all
Oh,
3 because
okay.
Topuria couldn't pressure him effectively, but he
Mm.
picked up on all of Volk's reads and then was able to do it in the next round.
Ah, okay, okay.
But Topuria was able to do that to Max Holloway. No other motherfucker on earth has been able to do that to Max Holloway or Volkanovski for that matter. Like
Mm.
Topuria is wicked smart and has thunder in his hands.
Yeah.
I don't know if Diego Lopez got that.
I don't I nothing that he has shown me does. He's
Yeah.
shown me more of a wrestle controlling type fighter.
Well, and
Like
then the
he'll
wrestling, Volkanovski went tit for tat with Islam Makhachev at 155.
Yeah, that's true.
Is Diego Lopez as strong and as technical as Islam Makhachev, the pound for pound best fighter on earth? Ah, I don't think so.
I no,
I
no.
This fight really strikes me as a tale of like Volkanovski, I think, has got in every dimension in the skill of striking, in footwork, in strategy, in grappling, in pure strength. He's got Lopez beat. The question is, does he have the chin to hold up against what we know? Lopez, he's not Ilya Taporia, maybe he's not Conor McGregor, maybe he's not, Justin Gaethje, but Lopez is a thumper. Like, can all of that skill be negated by Lopez's ability to like bonk Volkanovski on the head, you know? And that's the calculation I'm trying to make is like, do I think somebody can do nobody comes back after 2 losses, especially 2 finish losses. Nobody below 155 wins the title above 35 years old or above 34 years old, right? Like, uh, nobody nobody really regains their title that much. It's super rare.
Yeah,
But if any fighter I've ever seen can do it, it's gotta be Volkanovski. The only question is his chin gonna hold up in fighting Diego Lopez?
yeah.
Yeah.
Is his chin gonna hold up? Is the age gonna be a factor? Because he hasn't fought in over a year. You know, the the head kick knockout to Islam was 2 years ago. You know,
Mhm.
his decision loss to Islam was also 2 years ago. So I mean,
Yeah.
that's a long time. In the last 2 years, he's gone 1-3. You know,
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
it is tough. You know,
Yeah.
I'm pulling for Volk, but it is. I mean, the first round is going to show us everything. I feel is going to show us
Yeah.
where he's at and what this fight's going to look like.
Yeah. I agree. But, like, as on the same man, I'm like, Diego Lopez came in on 4 hours notice against Danny Ige. Danny Ige dropped the first 2 rounds, but then picked up on Lopez's reads because Lopez is a very simple fighter.
Yes, yes.
He's just super aggressive and he hits hard. And on the ground, he is very skilled, but, like, he's not I think him not getting submitted by Mosar on a very short notice fight made everyone think that he's like this like wizard on the ground, but it's just like he survived the whole time, but he didn't like put Mosar in a bad situation. He didn't reverse him dramatically. We talked about this before. Diego Lopez is kind of like Brian Ortega 2.0. And we saw what Volkanovski did to Brian Ortega 1.0. He nearly killed that man in the cage. Um So, I don't know. It's a weird fight because and one other thing we have to calculate is there are when these 2 men get into the octagon, there will be 4 haircuts in the octagon, and one of them has no hair. So the 4 haircuts are all in Diego Lopez's corner. Like, does that give him some power? I don't know. Um, I don't know. Colin, how are you picking this fight? How do you see it going?
I've got Volk. I got Volk by decision. He's going to become the first 35-year-old champion in the 155 and below divisions, and he's going to recapture UFC gold, baby.
That's goddamn right. I've got Volk, though, by 4th round TKO due to ground and
Oh,
pound. I
nice. All
will
right.
say, Volkanovski shutting down most of Makhachev's grappling, and Volkanovski showing his ground and pound during both the Chad Mendes fight, during tiny snippets during Max Holloway, and definitely during that Brian Ortega fight, makes you realize there's a huge untapped potential that we don't talk about when it comes to Volkanovski. When he's on top of you, motherfucker rains down bombs. It's an artillery strike when he's on top of you.
Mhm.
I think he might stop Diego Lopez 4th round due to strikes with ground and pound.
All right.
I'm
All
picking
right.
Volkanovski too. We're both going for it. It's just I don't know, Colin, in your estimation, is he one of the best or is he one of the top 10 best fighters you've ever seen fight?
ever seen fight.
Can you
He's
name
definitely
9 other
up
people
there.
ahead of him, I guess I would say.
Hmm. I have to think about that. I think he's definitely up there. I don't know. He's a great fighter. He's really really great. I don't want to discount that. I don't know that's we're talking just MMA.
Yeah, just MMA, just MMA.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I think we should. I want to revisit that later on. I
Okay.
need some time.
I
I need some time on that.
I gotta say, he's gotta be in top 10 now, and if he reclaims
Existing
the
like
title.
currently, yeah.
No, all time.
Oh, all time, all time.
I think he's up there in the same discussion as Jose Aldo, Demetrius Johnson, GSP, John Jones. Like, this guy's up there.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
if he does this, I mean, he'll do something that, like, almost no one has done before, and basically no one has done in the modern era.
Mhm.
He might be a top 5.
Mm.
As much as it hurts to, like, kick Max Holloway out of the top 10 or the top 5, like, Volk might be the dude. Um, yeah. Alright. Well, an intriguing fight. This is we'll see truly if featherweight is no country for old men or if Volkanovski can really turn back the clock. I will say in his time off, he has done like a couple interviews and he said like, I had to really understand like who am I without MMA? And what do I really want out of the sport? And like finding a
Mhm.
fighter that like kind of recenters themselves about that can go either one of two ways. One, very bad, where they recentered to being happy rather than being a fighter, or someone who just kind of like can go into it and fight well. And
Yeah.
I don't know. Both these dudes look fucking more shredded than a julienne salad, so I'm excited for it.
I will.
It's
I
gonna
will
be
say Volk. Volk is a great character too because he's like. I saw a clip earlier. He's like driving the car with his buddies, and he's basically saying like his daughter was saying, like, "Oh, I'm afraid. Like if someone comes in, what's going to happen?" And he's just like, "Baby, I'm world champion. I'll defend you. I've got you. You have nothing to worry about." And his daughter says, "What if it's Islam Makhachev that breaks in?" I was
yeah.
like,
Uh,
good sport
that
and also hilarious daughter for just roasting her dad like
yeah.
that.
And burning him with the quickness. That's
Yeah,
good. That's good. We like
yeah.
that. Uh, I'm surprised to see he's only a -122 favorite to the +102 Diego Lopez.
Yeah, wow.
Those are super like, I don't
That's
wanna
a
say
wild.
bet your house, but, like, I feel pretty fucking confident Volk's got this.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, damn, I feel pretty confident about this fight, but not as confident as I do about this co-main event. Colin, there's nothing but winners, and there's nothing but losers in this fight, because whoever wins, I feel sad, but whoever loses, I feel happy. Um, it's Paddy Pimblett against Michael Chandler.
Yep. Tell me,
Make
tell
it
me.
ma ma Oh, okay, I should tell you? What
Yeah,
should I tell you?
you go for this one. Tell me, what do you got on this?
Well, I was gonna say, make a case for me why Paddy Pimblett can win this fight.
Patty Pimblett is finding ways to win when he shouldn't, and most of it is because of donkey brain moments from other fighters, but,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, you can't you cannot say that he hasn't, like, racked up wins. Now, I will say they've been against some very, like, suspect opponents and suspect decisions, but wins are wins, man.
They are wins. I do wanna quickly rate them.
Sure,
So,
sure.
his only fight in 2024 was against King Green. Colin, what
Yeah.
did we award King Green for his decision making in this fight?
Donkey brains moment.
Yeah, Donkey Brains of the Year. And then he didn't fight any other time in 2024, but he did
Yep.
fight in 2023.
Once.
Who did he fight and how long did this fight go?
Went Tony Ferguson for 15 minutes.
The full he took Tony Ferguson, the mummy of Tony Ferguson. Is it the last Tony Ferguson fight in the UFC, I believe? No, he fought Michael Chiesa. I forgot about that. What a bummer. But basically the last real fight Tony Ferguson's career, and he took him to a decision. That's not great, man. If you can't put away the ghost of Tony Ferguson, that's not great.
Yep.
Um, I on the other hand, Colin, how did Michael Chandler look in his last fight against Charles Oliveira?
Not great.
Yeah, not great.
He had to cheat a whole lot just to, like,
Oh, well, he's
get
always cheated.
a whole lot, though, the last part
Yeah.
that last round, so
Mhm. But let's talk about what Paddy Pimblett is good at. Paddy Pimblett is big. He's a
Yep.
huge size bully, and he's very, very good when he gets your back. He's good at getting to the back, not like taking you down and passing your guard, but once you're in a scramble, getting your back
Mhm.
and then submitting you from there.
Yep.
Charles Oliveira,
Is he better at that?
yes, and he got to Michael Chandler's back multiple times in that fight and couldn't submit him. So, is Michael Chandler washed? Yeah, basically. Is Paddy Pimblett good? No. So the question is like, what do we think of this fight? Here's my thing. I'm seeing Demetrius Johnson. I'm seeing Luke Thomas. I'm seeing the guys over at Heavy Hands. All of them, Israel Adesanya. All of them, people I really admire. Their understanding of the fight game and knowledge and ability to predict outcomes. Picking Paddy Pimblett.
Oh,
I
really?
I don't understand it. I don't understand it because I'm like, it took Charles Oliveira a lot of effort to get Michael Chandler down. And Charles Oliveira is actually good at getting people to the ground. And one benefit you have when you're trying to get someone to the ground is having very good stand up so that it makes the person hesitant to throw back. Paddy Pimblett does not have good stand up. One might say he has atrocious stand up. He doesn't have good takedowns. Michael Chandler has pretty good takedown defense. Michael Chandler also has ungodly athleticism and insane knockout power. I don't understand how you pick Paddy Pimblett in this fight unless you think Michael Chandler will make a donkey brains decision equivalent to King Green in this fight. And like as much as Michael Chandler cheats and does make bad decisions, he hurt and won the first round against Justin Gaethje. He hurt and won the first round against Dustin Poirier. In his first fight with Charles Oliveira, he hurt and took the first round from Charles Oliveira. This most recent fight with Charles Oliveira, he did not look as good. He's definitely rusty. He's definitely older. But I'm just like, if he delivers even 75% of what he did against Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, and Charles Oliveira the first time, he's gonna knock Paddy Pimblett's head into the ninth row. Like, there's no way Paddy can win this thing. I don't have
Yeah.
anything else to say other than I think Michael Chandler as an underdog plus 124, you gotta bet on that. You gotta bet as a first round TKO
Oh,
because
okay.
I don't know what else this fight can be unless Colin, and you have to correct me on this. Does Chandler come out and go, I gotta take it real slow with this fight. I
Hmm.
gotta be real cautious. I want right. Both of them are trying to parlay this into a Conor McGregor fight, or what I most likely think will happen. Whoever wins this fight will fight Ilia Topuria in Ilia Topuria's 155 debut.
Oh my god, really?
I think so, right? Because
Either
who else
one of
is
them
it
are gonna
gonna
be
be?
destroyed.
I know, but perfect, right? If Paddy wins this fight, he's gonna ride such a wave of hype, and then Ilya will murder him. And if Chandler wins this fight, Chandler is I mean, he's number 7 in this division. He'll be a top 5 opponent, basically, and Topuria can execute him as well. It's all a boost for Topuria. But, like, the only way I can see Pimblett winning this is Michael Chandler going, I need to be really cautious and take it slow and careful because Paddy is too dangerous for me, which he might do because he's
Mhm.
overly scared of like, I mean, this is his last chance basically. If he loses this, his career's over. or he knocks Pimblett down, leaps like a frog, arms and legs up in the air all at once into his guard, and then immediately gets reversed and submitted. But I also am like, dude, he knocked out Dan Hooker, an infinitely durable man. He nearly knocked out Dan Hooker or Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje. Like, he should be able to kill Paddy Pimblett pretty easily.
Yeah.
Tell me I'm wrong and explain to me why I'm incorrect.
No, I'm not. I've got Chandler as well. I actually
Well,
had him in second round TKO though, because I think
oh,
it's
okay.
because I think it's kind of like you said, it's going to be playing out a little bit slower. Especially, I think Patty Pimblett is actually going to be the one who's more tentative, just like what we saw with King Green. Um,
Okay.
and he was like very slow. He was always second, not initiating anything. I think Chandler's going to be playing it pretty safe like that. And I think, after towards the end of the first round, he'll start to put things together and then realize like, oh, there's actually nothing really to fear here. And then he'll get the TKO in the second round.
Okay. Okay. Now, if Monday we come, let's say you haven't watched the fight, but I tell you on Monday, oh man, crazy how Patty won that fight. How would you imagine the fight goes down in which Patty wins?
It would be something. It would be like the King Green fight again. Like basically like Michael Chandler, like you said, dives straight into a choke and just says, "Here, take it." Like, choke
Yeah.
me out here.
And why? Because like looking back at the King Green fight, it was like you could see that Patty was like physically a lot bigger than King Green.
Hmm.
And then when Patty threw a 3-punch combination, King Green went, "Holy shit. This big guy knows how to throw combinations. I better shoot for a takedown." So, like, he got scared of, like, a big guy throwing more than 1 punch.
Hmm.
What do you think would be the thing that scares Michael Chandler to make a donkey brain decision? Because this is what I like, that's the crux of where my brain kind of, like I'm like, I can't wrap my head around.
I
Because it
I
might
think
happen.
I think it would just be like not something that he gets scared of, but he'd be like willingly going to the ground, and then as it happens, realizing like, oh shit, I've made a mistake, and will like try to turtle or roll to his
Mm,
knees, and then in a scramble, you know, Patty Pimblett gets it. But again, it'd be something like really shocking because Charles Oliveira, who is known for being like the king of that, couldn't finish him.
that's a good point. Yeah. So maybe he knocks down Patty Pimblett, jumps into his guard, gets reversed, and gets tapped?
Yeah.
Fuck, and that could happen. Fuck. But here's the thing. And it's the thing I wrestle with a lot. I'm writing on Michael Chandler, especially because he's an underdog, and I'm like, I think the odds makers are totally missing it. And I think, again, Demetrius Johnson, Luke Thomas, Israel Adesanya, Zane Simon, the guys at the heavy hands, they're picking Patty Pimblett. I'm like, you all are blind. You're blind to what's gonna happen.
Hmm.
Uh, Like, I don't know, man. What am I missing? Why is everyone else picking Patty Pimblett instead of me?
Well, no, we've talked about this before. How like fighters have weird picks, like, and it doesn't just because they have like fighting experience and IQ doesn't necessarily mean that they're actually picking smart. Like how many times have
Yeah.
we seen people like, especially Izzy, picking people who like
I know,
he
but
like.
Max Holloway picked Patty Pimblett too. Like, what are we missing, man?
I think they just don't like Chandler.
That's true. That's true. That makes sense. Now, here's my thing. Another one too. I hate both of these guys. Who do you
Sure.
want rather than who do you think will win? Who do you want to win this fight?
I want it to end in a draw and no one wins.
What? Imagine you have to pick one though, because draws never happen. Someone's got to get
uh,
finished. Who do you want to get finished in this fight?
Chandler.
Yeah, it isn't. It's hard to
Because I
because
I
it's like
actually like Patty Pimblett's kind of endearing. He's just not that good of a fighter, but he's hyped up to
yeah,
be better than he is. So that's
yeah,
not really his fault,
yeah.
like
That's true. You're exact. No, you're right. Because Michael Chandler is. I wish nothing but ill upon him. But like, if dude, because Patty could parlay this into a title shot against Islam Makhachev. And here's the thing: I think Islam Makhachev would do evil things to Patty Pimblett. But
yeah.
at the same time, I didn't expect Patty to win his last 3 fights. And if this happens, it'd be a 4th fight, and if he somehow magically taps Islam Makhachev, I mean, I shouldn't be surprised. Trump has just massacred the world economy with his tariffs and is the most powerful person in the free world. Like, whatever. I guess there's no
Yeah.
order to any of this.
Darkest timeline. It'd be fitting.
Yeah, it's a bummer. But I think, look, Michael Chandler plus 124, you got to take that plus money.
Yeah.
Michael Chandler, I say first round, you say second round. Okay, so we're pretty aligned.
Yeah.
Volkanovski as a slight favorite, which is crazy because, again, Diego Lopez is being picked by Mighty Mouse, being picked by Luke Thomas, being picked by a lot of other fighters. Max Holloway going to the Volk, I think probably losing 3 times in a row to him makes you decide to pick him. But most people not picking Chandler, including the bookies. We go to another interesting featherweight fight. Yair Rodriguez, who's
Mm.
been gone for a year, who last lost to Brian Ortega against the best fighter to come out of Bellator and one of the best featherweights in the last 10 years, Patricio Pitbull.
Yep.
Colin, what do we think about this fight? Because this is kind of a Volk versus Lopez fight of young versus old.
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, I am excited for it, and mostly I'm just excited that Pitbull's here in the UFC, and
Mhm.
mostly because like whoever he's fought, like I've liked what I've seen in his fights. He's had some exciting fights. He has lost to some like kind of randos, but
Yeah,
like
some numbers. Mhm.
yeah, but okay, part of it was also like okay, he lost to Sergio Pettis at bantamweight, like not his
Yeah, cutting
standard.
down.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you know, lose. Yeah, so like I am excited to see him, but I'm more excited to just see okay, he's been fighting people in lesser organizations,
Mhm.
so can't is all the highlights, all the videos I'm seeing just him styling on people who are way less skilled and less able than him. So now that he's gonna actually be fighting against the best of the best, will that hold up? Will he still look as good? Or will there just be kind of like like a rude awakening almost?
Mhm. Well, I mean, like, let's, like, go back through, like, some of his signature wins. He beat Wilson Hayes. Um,
He beat Michael Chandler
he beat Michael
at,
Chandler.
at lightweight though, so
Sure, but, like, he still beat a guy who's top 7. He beat Pat Curran, which, like, or no, he lost Pat Curran, never mind, I take that. He beat,
no, he beat Pat Curran
oh, yeah, he
in
beat Pat Curran.
2014, so
Yeah,
10 years
but,
ago.
like, we gotta put some respect on that. That's Pat Curran is an absolute, like Pat Curran is a legit fighter, even 10 years ago. Well,
Mhm.
especially 10 years ago. Like, a legit fighter. Daniel Strauss, a good fighter. He submitted him. Like, beat Michael Chandler, like you said. Juan Archuleta, a very good fighter. Pedro Carvalho, a very good fighter. He lost to AJ McKee, but then beat him in the rematch. AJ McKee, an absolute stud. Like, for a time, Pitbull was one of the best featherweights there was. I would say, like, I mean, he's of the same era. I think he's less than a year younger than Jose Aldo. But like
Mm,
at one time, I bet Pitbull and Jose Aldo were the 2 best featherweights, and they just never got to fight each other.
yeah, okay.
Um, so yeah. But he's fighting a young fighter, someone who's what? Yair Rodriguez is 31, younger than both of us by
Peace.
a couple of years. Like, what do we think? What are we thinking about this fight?
Uh, yeah, I mean, I think it is. It's like you said. It's a very much a mirror matchup, like of like the old versus young, the
Mhm,
former champion versus like an up and comer.
mhm,
And the big thing is the hype real for Yair Rodriguez? Does he possess enough experience and skills to handle, the weathered veteran that is Patricio Pitbull?
yeah.
And coming off of two losses, and having not fought that much in the last year or so, yeah, yeah, I don't know. Also losing to Brian Ortega by submission, that's not I mean, Brian Ortega is a good
Yeah,
jiu-jitsu
nah,
player,
that's a
but
bad loss.
yeah,
'Cause he
losing by
was
TKO to Volk, like, and that can happen that happens to everyone,
yeah.
but yeah, that's a little concerning.
Yeah, but he was shit kicking Brian Ortega and then just gassed and then just like I mean, when Yair Rodriguez starts to gas, it's not like a slow decline. He goes from 99 to 1 so fast.
Mm.
He falls off a fucking cliff. Um yeah, it's not great. I don't know. What do you think? Give me a pick cuz look, we know Yair Rodriguez is not good at grappling, but for the first 2 rounds, the dude's got a gas tank. The dude finished Emmett in 2 rounds. He had a good 2 rounds against Volkanovski as Volkanovski slowly dismantled him. 2 good rounds against Ortega, or at least 1.5 good rounds. And Patricio Pitbull is old, man. It's got miles on him. Is 37,
Yeah,
nearly 38.
yeah.
What do we think?
So while I have the savvy veteran, the experience, the old guy winning in Volk Lopez, I'm also gonna have the old man. It's gonna be the night of old men for me.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah?
just because I just see myself aging quickly, and I'm just more sympathetic to the older guys. So I'm saying Pitbull by decision.
Ah, interesting. All right. I mean, I guess, like, he'd have to what? Grind him out with wrestling?
Yeah. Or I mean, you don't think he can outstrike him on the feet?
Nah, I think if that happens, it's gonna be my pick, which is Yair Rodriguez, second round TKO, head
Oh,
kick,
okay.
and
Head
then
kick.
yeah, I think he's gonna get kicked into oblivion. Pitbull has shown difficulty striking against taller opponents, and he's just dude, he's long in the tooth, and it's
Yeah.
featherweight. It's
Yeah.
featherweight. It's not great. I think Yair Rodriguez is gonna kick him right in the dome piece in the second round, and that'll be all she wrote.
Oh, all right. All right. I've got it
Yeah,
down then.
but man, I guess here's my question. Should this have been the fight that Pitbull came in on for his UFC debut? Because I
I
take
mean,
great umbrage with this fight.
okay.
I feel
Tell
like it
tell me
should be
more.
Jose Aldo versus Patricio Pitbull.
Oh, that would have been
Because
good.
Patricio Pitbull was the Bellator champ when Jose Aldo was the UFC champ. And they're about the same age. They've got the same amount of miles on them. Jose Aldo maybe a little more. This would have been great versus Jose Aldo against Amin Zahabi. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know what the
Let
fuck
Amin
that is.
Zahabi fight Yair Rodriguez. Like, why? Or if I know Dominic Cruz isn't still around, but maybe not cutting weight. Dom Cruz versus Patricio Pitbull at 145. That might have been good. I'd take that.
Mhm.
I feel like you should have given Pitbull a old guard person to fight, like somebody of his generation, because there are a couple that are still hanging around. Rather than Yair Rodriguez, somebody who's like 6 inches taller than him and who kicks like a fucking maniac.
Jesus, is he
Um,
that much taller?
I don't know. I just made that shit up. Let's see. Uh, Yair Rodriguez is 5'11", and Patricia Pitbull is 5'6", so 5 inches
Oh,
taller. I,
that's
I
yeah,
wasn't too
this
far off,
nope.
right? And like the reach is a 4-inch reach advantage for Yair Rodriguez. So like, yeah, um, this should have been Jose Aldo. You
Yep.
know, this shouldn't have been a young fighter, but it's whatever. If Pitbull wins, great. He might be next in line to fight for a title, right? Like they might just rush him to fight Volk, and I'd love
Yeah.
to watch that. That'd be cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, and if Yair wins, whatever. We saw him get paced by Volk, or if Diego Lopez wins, I'd bet Diego Lopez would pace Yair Rodriguez as well. So,
Mhm.
yeah. Anyway, so you're going with the old man. This is our first like deviation.
I
I'm going with
know.
Yair, and you're going with Pitbull. Awesome. Well, next up, Colin, it's the fight
Oh,
we've all
yeah.
been waiting for.
Oh, yeah.
Pre-meth Hitler, Bryce Mitchell against Blue Jean Silva, Long John Silva, Jean Valjean Silva. Dude, this fight, I don't even know. Kick it off. Where do you want to even start the discussion around this fight?
I mean, we talked about, like okay, we spent a lot of time talking about both who can win and how and what avenue they can win
Yeah.
by, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So but we also say, like, as just like a person, who do we want to win?
Yeah.
You know? And I definitely want Silva to just murder Bryce Mitchell.
Oh, yeah.
And the things I've seen from Silva, he can definitely do it. And
Yeah,
the
yeah.
man has violence in his body, in his hands, just
Mhm.
waiting to unleash on someone.
Yeah.
And I think Bryce Mitchell is going to be a poor, poor victim of that. And
Mm.
I don't see Bryce Mitchell being able to stand against the power and the striking
Mhm.
of Silva. And I think Silva's
Mhm.
going to make quick work of him. I think it's going to be a first round TKO for Silva.
Damn, that was a fast pick. Now here's the thing. Charles Jourdain, not a grappler, was able to take down our good friend Long John Silva.
Mhm.
Bryce Mitchell, for all of his terrible views, for all his insane flat earth theories, for all of his I see demons in the world, I'm an insane brain damaged man. The dude can grapple. The dude
Yep.
can grapple well and intelligently. Why do you think he won't be able to take down Blue Jean Silva in this fight?
I think he'll have to wade into the danger zone to do that.
Mm,
And I think Silva just has enough not only to just end it right there on the very first shoot or very first attempt to close the distance, but if he
mhm,
doesn't do it, he'll hit him with something hard enough that'll give him pause and give him, make him concerned about going for a grapple or going for, a takedown exchange or anything like that. And that
mhm,
hesitation will just set up more opportunities for Silva to counter and Silva to lay like a huge bomb on him.
mm. That's true. Have you gone back and watched the Bryce Mitchell, Josh Emmett fight recently?
I did not know.
So one thing I noticed in that is like Josh Emmett doesn't throw. I mean, because Josh Emmett never feints, but like he doesn't throw anything for like at least a minute in that fight. Neither one of them do. And then it's only
Okay.
when Bryce Mitchell goes, well, he's not throwing. So why don't I try to throw something? That Josh Emmett goes, "Perfect, I'll counter this right now," and then sends him to the land of wind and ghosts, just knocks him dead. Um, the question is, does our violent friend Blue Jean Silva have that sort of poise and patience to allow Bryce Mitchell to hang himself in this fight? Or is he gonna go out there and seek to destroy and run into a double leg or run into one of the myriad takedown kind of systems that Bryce Mitchell has?
I think that's very possible, and kind of like almost setting himself up for like a takedown and getting
Yeah,
himself in trouble. But I also could just see him just like stepping in and with one shot just obliterating Bryce
yeah.
Mitchell.
I mean, he definitely could. It's this question of like, Long John Silva is a bit of an enigma to me. I'm like, I don't know what's going on in his head. I don't know how he trains. Do I trust him to take the right strategy? Which is all I need to worry about in this fight is getting taken down. So I just need to sit there, not close the distance too much, and wait for Bryce Mitchell to come to me and then let him run onto my fist.
Yeah.
Or is John Silva a shit eating wild man who's just going to get after it? I don't know, Colin. I don't know. The man scares me, and I don't know enough about him to say.
Sometimes
Um,
being a shit-eating wild man is enough though to throw off like a
that's true.
disciplined, like
That's
one-dimensional
absolutely true.
fighter.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. But like Bryce Mitchell gave Ilya Taporia trouble. I don't know. I like the only thing I'm feeling is like when I first heard this fight, I'm like, dude, Blue Jean Silva is gonna kill Bryce Mitchell. But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, well, Bryce Mitchell did okay against Ilya Taporia. Bryce Mitchell, the only reason he we remember that flatlining he took against Josh Emmett is because Josh Emmett has lights out takedown defense and was super patient. Long John Silva's a bit of a wild card. He's like Charlie Kelly. He's gonna just light gasoline on fire. I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. Um, But I'm
I
also gonna pick Blue Jean Silva first round TKO because you
nice.
gotta do it. You gotta do it. There's no other pick to make.
I
Um,
I will say, just in watching some of his highlight videos, there's one where he threw a front kick, and as the foot was coming down, not even planted with 2 feet, threw a like falling backwards right hand and knocked the guy down. Like,
oh yeah. I mean
admittedly,
the
it's more like bush league, like fight there, like not
mhm,
UFC, not like top league, but still,
yeah.
like that kind of power where you're on one leg falling backwards, you can knock someone out. That's that's problems for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, he's featherweight Yoel Romero. He barely does
Yes.
anything, but when he
Yes.
does do something, it kills 99% of humans.
Yep.
Um, yeah, but just like Yoel Romero, he can get real sleepy and possibly have donkey brains. So we gotta figure out how Yoel Romero are you? Um,
How Yoel Romero are you? Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
like,
All
are
right.
you full Yoel Romero or are you like Yoel Romero with a brain, right? Are you like Young Frankenstein, are you the Frankenstein monster with an abnormal brain, or are you the one with like a genius brain that has been put into it? We have to figure this out. I don't know with John Silva at the moment. He could be donkey brains maxed in the body of like a fucking Gundam warrior, or he could be a super intelligent person in the body of a Gundam warrior. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. Anyway, but
All
we're
right.
both
But
picking John Silva first round
yeah,
TKO on that one. Yeah.
there's
So
one more fight.
we've only differed on one so far.
Yeah.
One more fight. Nikki Thrills, Nikita Krylov, coming back to for 2 years away
Yeah.
against Dominic Reyes. Colin, how good actually is Dominic Reyes?
Well, here's the thing. I thought he was done, and now he's racked up 2 kind of not, I don't want to say vintage, but he's racked up 2 TKO KO wins, admittedly
Okay.
over like
And against
not
yeah,
great
against
opponents,
who?
but
No. Not just not great opponents. Name who they are.
Anthony Smith and Dustin Jacoby.
Great. Anthony Smith. Anthony Smith. Do you remember what Dominic Reyes said in the post-fight press conference about his fight with Anthony Smith?
No, what do you say?
Anthony Smith was whispering to him in the cage when they were fighting, "Punch me so I can feel something." Do we count that as a win? That doesn't feel quite like a win to me, man. That feels like, oh man, you beat up a living heavy bag, which maybe that boosts his confidence and he feels good, but isn't an indication of how good he is. The Dustin Jacoby win, he did win fair and square, but it was very fast, and Dustin Jacoby was not a top 15 light heavyweight.
Mm.
On the other hand, Nikita Krylov has been gone for 2 years, and his last win was against, Ryan
Yeah.
Spann. Yikes. Ugh. And then Alexander Gustafsson, was that Gustafsson's last fight in the UFC? Yeah, it
Maybe?
was.
Yeah.
When Gustafsson was washed beyond washed. And then Volk Oezdemir, which is a respectable win in 2022, but it's still 3 years away.
Yep.
I mean, what is even your read on this fight, Colin? I mean, we just recounted a bunch of sad facts about this.
Yeah, I don't know, like, this is kind of like a not a throwaway fight, but, like, I don't see the appeal of this one, you know?
Yeah, don't sell it short, Colin. It is a throwaway fight.
Alright, alright.
Yeah, it's a throwaway fight.
Alright,
Um,
what do you have for this one? Do you have someone who is, who is washed and maybe is having a small resurgence in Dominic Reyes? Or do you have someone who has been out of the game for 2 whole years coming back?
yeah, it's hard. I don't think there's any resurgence in Dominic Reyes. I
Okay.
think he's just as wash as he was when he was on the 4-fight losing streak. He just fought people more washed than him. That didn't boost him, it just showed that, like, you're not desperately, hopelessly, tragically washed. You're just really sadly, "Let's get you home, grandpa," washed. You know what I mean? Like, he's not We're not putting him out to pasture and taking a shotgun to his head and saying, "Old Yeller's my dog, I'll take care of it." But we're saying, like, we might as well ship him off to the glue factory. Like, he's pretty gone. The question is, what the fuck has been happening with Nikita Krylov for the past 2 years? Because 'Cause he's been out. There's gonna be ring rust. There's gonna be a ton of stuff that's, like, an issue, but, like and, like, his 2 wins, Ryan Spann and Alexander Gustafsson, are not super impressive. Volkan Oezdemir is, and this division sucks, which allows Nikita Krylov to get a 3-fight win streak. But, like, I don't know. Nikita Krylov is good at kicking, and he's got decent grappling, but not good takedown defense.
Mhm.
Dominic Reyes doesn't seem to like getting kicked, as evidenced by the Jan Blachowicz fight. And he doesn't seem to have good grappling once it gets to the mat, but he has a decent takedown defense. So I'm kind of like, I don't really know what to fucking think of this fight. Um, I don't know. Do you have any read? I mean, my gut is to say I have more evidence to show that Dominic Reyes is washed and is not capable of fighting at this level in the UFC
Sure,
than
sure.
I have seen from Nikita Krylov, but Nikita Krylov could have come back from a 2-year, like, meth bender. I have no idea where he's been, right? Like, and then we'll go like, "Oh, well, of course he was washed." Like, I have so it's more of a, like, I have evidence to show that, like, Dominic Reyes is not a good fighter anymore. I don't have evidence quite to say that for Nikita Krylov, but that's mostly because I haven't seen him fight in 2 years. So I
Mhm,
have to kinda pick Nikita Krylov and just say, like, "Well, if you come back basically the same as you were 2 years ago, you should be able to beat Dominic Reyes."
mhm.
So I'll pick him by decision.
Nikita Krylov?
Yeah.
Alright, alright.
What about you?
Yeah, I feel like that's the smart play, because again, it's like you said, what we've seen from Dominic Reyes has been
Mhm,
not great. He's gotten wins and, like, it does make me happy that he got wins, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, your opponents and things like that, I'm not sure.
mhm.
So the smart play is, yes, Krylov by decision.
Yeah, I think so. Well, it's not necessarily a smart play for bettors because Dom Reyes is the underdog, so you might wanna take Dom Reyes, but no, I'd probably
No,
take
I am gonna take Dominic Reyes by decision.
Oh, there you go, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, we'll
So,
see. Um,
yeah, I mean,
yeah,
both of this is just like there's so many unknowns, like what
yeah,
what will Krylov Nikita Krylov look like coming in 2 years out of competition? We've just talked about it when the division moves past you. Like, what do you still have? Dominic
mhm,
Reyes being washed. What like what is he? What can he do? But maybe Nikita Krylov is more washed than Dominic Reyes. So
yeah, that's true. That's true. And it's like, I just it's hard to know, man. It's so
oh
hard
yeah,
to know, and, like, whatever happens, we probably won't even know. We might watch the fight and be like, "Well, I didn't learn anything."
yeah,
Um, it's light heavyweight.
yeah.
So those are all our picks. We both picked favorite Alexander Volkanovski. We both picked underdog Michael Chandler. We were split. I picked Yair Rodriguez. You picked Patricio Pitbull. We
Mhm.
both agreed Blue Jean Silva should kill Bryce Mitchell. And then we were split between Nikki Thrills and Dominic Reyes. As our tiebreaker, I picked Dan Ige, who was an underdog against Sean Woodson. And of almost equal underdog status, you picked Yan Xiaonan against Verna Jandiroba.
Mhm.
Now that the odds have been released as well, I want to say Jim Miller is a plus 550 underdog against
Yikes.
Chase Hooper, who is a minus 800 favorite.
Yeah. Ugh.
Listen, guys, if you have $5 you never want to see again, throw it on Jim Miller. I got a good feeling. I got a good feeling. I got a good plum pick there.
All right,
Um,
all right.
don't bet it on Darren Elkins, though. He will lose. Um, 314. I mean, uh, a score out of A through F. How do you score this card, Colin?
uh, I'd say a solid B, B plus.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. Overall, it's
Pretty
not
good.
bad.
Yeah, I mean, like, It's weird because you look at the skill level of the fighters and go like, if this was a Diego Lopez Alexander Volkanovski fight, just skill wise, kind of a mismatch. Chandler Pimblett as well. You're like the skill level is not super high. But in this era of terrible, terrible, terrible cards, this is a shining light, and we have to take refuge in its warm, glowing, warming glow. And that's what we'll do. All right, everybody.
All right.
Anything else, Colin?
Dude, I'm just looking at this picture of Dan Ige. Look at that fucking stash. Like, my God.
Yeah, that pedo stash, it's
Yeah.
pretty good. Pretty good. He's gonna definitely molest the shit out of Sean Woodson. Yeah, yeah. Danny Ige, a man who took the third round off Diego Lopez. So if anyone's thinking Diego Lopez is gonna beat Alexander Volkanovski, you're basically only betting that Volk doesn't have a chin anymore. Which, man, I hope that's not true. That would make me really, really sad. But such just life. Life is endless misery, and it'll stop when we're dead. All right, this has been 2 5 Fans Podcast. I'm 1 5 Fan Stewart.
I'm the other Colin.
Uh, talk later. Bye.